Alrighty, we're live, folks. What's happening? Looks like a few of you have already commented. I guess when I load the preview, it goes ahead and allows the chat window to get started. So Jeremy Black says, "Waiting." I'm here. Yeah, I haven't looked at that video. I saw it pop up the other day. Herb Brown that Chris did. And I wasn't there. I didn't register, so I was not too sad for sure. Liaison, what's happening? Yeah, Gravel Growler looked like true misery. So yeah, it was a challenge to be said. Jay Black says, "I don't need to see the video. I was right there." Oh man, you guys. I was not sad to be missing that. I didn't even ride this weekend. I was just hanging out. I went to a museum instead. Daniel Lemons, what's happening, brother? And Ryan Palamba checked in. Ryan was messaging me earlier with his picture of bourbon that he's already started pre-show. So he's getting a little pre-show warm-up. Darren Hall, what's up? 1:37, a couple minutes, and we'll get rolling. We've got we're going to talk Gravel Growler for a bit. I'm just talking about it through my friends and through all of that. Like I said, I didn't register, and weather played a big part, and we're still feeling a little bit of that. So we'll talk some Turd to Dirt race registration procedure, just basics. I try to do this every year about this time, just in case we have people out there that don't know. In addition, I like to spread the word so that everybody else knows it better and understands it better, so that as veterans of the Turd to Dirt, you can help any newbies that you see, and help explain it to your friends, things of that nature. So then we'll move on into, we've got three new pretty cool, exciting little events happening. And they both came up on my radar. Well, in the last week, I think, and then more yesterday. So we'll talk more about those along with the rest of the upcoming events, and we'll probably talk a little bit about those three events more than not. So we'll knock out a pretty good chunk, but we don't have a lot of things to talk about. But I know it'll probably go at least 45, 50, and closer to my normal time, just because there's a lot of topics within those few things. So. But again, you guys, gals, be sure and chime in, say hey, throw questions out, throw any other things happening in your world out, in case I'm missing stuff. And got a little raspberry flavored vodka tonight, and I got a little box wine action happening too. So got a little trainer workout in earlier, got a quick shower and warmed up, and now my fingers and my feet are already cold. So, one of those gigs. I'm tired of this cold weather, but I'm going to kick back here tomorrow. Looks like we have a possibility of we're kind of on the line, so I don't exactly know what we're going to get, but there's a chance of some slick roads in our area a little bit. And so we've already dismissed school. We're doing a virtual learning day. So all of our kids and teachers are going to teach virtually. We've been kind of practicing this with our kids. And even though we've been in full time, we do have a handful of kids that are virtual, but we've been practicing with all of our kids so that in case we have a day off or a day out, or we actually started it in case we had a big outbreak of COVID, which we have not had. So, we have had cases, but COVID is it's not spread enough. I mean, I'd say probably a third of our faculty and staff have had it at one time or another, but we haven't all had it at the same time. So we've been able to maintain regular classes and regular schedules. And honestly and oddly, without too much trouble. Not like some of my friends at other schools and some of our surrounding schools who have been hit pretty hard. But regardless of that, tomorrow I'm hanging out here doing virtual. I actually technically don't have to work, but I will. I'll be up with my Zoom open and waiting for calls from my teachers to be able to help them if necessary. But that's my plan tomorrow, and ride my trainer and hang out. So hopefully you guys will be safe and somewhat warm and all those things. So Mike Roberts checked in. What's happening, Mike? You got it. We're doing it. Let's go. So let's get after it. I've kind of BS'd around for 5 minutes now. That's my usual. As I told Denny Pray through the other day, he was curious about when I actually got started, so that he didn't want to miss anything, but then he didn't want to like sit around and wait for 5 minutes. So I was like, pretty much 5 minutes is my go-to, give or take. All right. Let's just jump into the gravel growler. I won't spend a lot of time on it. You've seen the pictures. You've seen the videos. And weather moved in. And it was pretty gnarly and cold and wet, snowy. I don't think it got too muddy just because the terrain out there is pretty solid. But I mean, everybody got dirty. Kind of reminds me of what was that? The Watchtalk gravel grinder that we did a couple of years ago. I didn't do it last year. I think Jay Black, you did it last year. So you're getting your fill of these cold races, Jay Black, between the Watchtalk gravel grinder up in Arkansas, and then now the gravel growler this weekend. So, whew, buddy, yeah. Mark Wells, what's up? Yeah, gravel growler Burr, exactly. So, it's one of those things. I've done them, been there, done that. I did land run that year that it was, 36 going all the way down to probably right at freezing and rainy and wet, and just basically froze. I've done Watchtalk gravel grinder a couple of years ago when it was really cold, 80 miles. Then we've had gravel growlers and that were cold before, but we've never had them wet. This is the first time it was cold and wet. So that's a whole different can of worms. Cold is one thing, wet is one thing, but those two things together are another. And I've only done a handful of those, and honestly, I've never figured it out. It's all about gear prep, clothing prep, and all the prep that I've done, I've always made one or two mistakes. So it's like, Mid-South last year. One, I wasn't feeling well, but two, I made some errors. I had gloves that were not fully waterproof. They were just water resistant. That doesn't work in the rain. You need something that's water resistant, neoprene type things. And I also noticed, I had all the, I was warm here. I was warm core. I was warm legs. I had the tights on. I had the right socks on. I had the right boots on. But then I just made an error, and that is that it's actively raining, water is splashing, and your tights are tight. So where does the water run to? It runs right into your boot. So next time a gaiter or long pants that go over the top of the shoe or the boot, then that way it keeps the water out. So anyway, live and learn. I don't know. It's one of those gigs. It's miserable, but if you get it dialed right, it's doable. But it's just so hard because we don't get a chance to really practice this kind of thing. And so you kind of get like once a year a chance to try it out. And if you don't get all the pieces just right, it's really hard. And for me, typically, it's always the issue is always feet and hands. And that's the hardest point. The rest is pretty easy, like face, body, legs, knees, all of that. That's pretty easy. I think everybody can kind of figure that out. And it's just about waterproofing with the jacket and things of that nature when you throw water in it. And that's a tough gig. So anyway, looked like some fun, a lot of suffering, and a lot of people pulling the plug. Yeah, Jeremy says he was soaked to the bone, pulled the plug halfway. Yeah, that's the key. Is just once you get wet and it's cold like this, you just can't. Usually the cutoff when you're wet is probably about 40 degrees. Honestly, it's hard to do anything 40 degrees or under if you're soaked and without the proper rain gear. So anyway, part of the gig. Anyway, it still looked like fun. It was a good event. I'm looking forward to it next year. I'm hoping life is back to somewhat normal and my body's back to normal. And I'm I feel bad that I missed that because I was there for the very first one. And but I just knew that I physically wasn't ready, and then I would have done so much damage to my body. And I'm just now finally starting to get where I can do some intervals and do some efforts and things of that nature that really stress my body. So I'm happy that I'm doing that. So I would have probably pushed myself back several weeks if I'd have done it this weekend. So glad I bailed, but glad the rest of you guys, gals, sort of had fun. But it's all good. That's part of it. Is the one thing about it is like it kind of sucks sometimes, but man, it makes for a good story, and it's amazing how quickly you forget about that. It's like, oh, I'm never doing this stupid thing again, and then it's like 2 weeks later, dude, you're just a sucker, and you get suckered right back into something stupid. So Stephen Cordes, what's happening? Mr. Boomer Sig. We're going to be talking. Steve will be chiming in here in a minute. We're going to be we'll be talking a little event coming up in Medicine Park. So glad to see Steve on here so he can correct me if I'm making any errors with it. Charlie Dingerfeld, good evening. What's happening? We were just finishing up talk with Gravel Growler. I didn't know if you were out there listening to that or not. So looked a bit interesting. Hey, I want to take a time out too. So I'm not a big YouTuber. I do have this YouTube channel, and I've been pushing everything over here. I'm hoping during some of my gaps, I work for a school, so I've got it's kind of pretty cush when it comes to time off. I'm super busy when I'm not off, but I do have a lot of time gaps off: spring break, fall break, summer, things of that nature. So I'm going to try to do some other YouTube stuff since I'm kind of going that way. But anyway, I just want to say thanks to all you folks out there. I have 100 subscribers. I know that's not crap, but I don't know. That's it's a big step up for 3 weeks. So not too bad. So appreciate it. Be sure and share my YouTube channel with all the cycling peeps. There is some non-cycling stuff out there every now and then, possibly, but it's rare. I pretty much everything I do is cycling. So most of it's fun, most of it's goofy, almost all of it's this. So anyway, I just want to thank all of you out there for subscribing to my page and sharing it and all that nature. So appreciate it. Alrighty, let's move on. Tour de Dirt race basics. So I'm going to sit back and get comfortable here. I don't need my notes for this. I'm not doing too many notes right now, but again, you guys just chime in if you have questions or comments or things like that, or things that you think someone, even those of you that are experienced and know this gig, if you see something I miss or something you'd like to point out about this topic, let me know. So I want to talk about just kind of the general procedure. If you show up or you roll into a Tour de Dirt race, you're like, hey, I want to come race. I want to do a race. Well, I get these several questions from, I usually get private messages or emails or things of that nature with new people that have never raced, or they don't know anybody to ask. And it's one of those things that I just kind of forget. I've been racing for so long. I'm just used to the procedure. I know how to roll into the venue and find the table and fill out the paper and hand it to the person and pay my money and get my plate or my tag or whatever I get my bag, and then go. I know how to get it, get my bike prepped, and I know where to go for the start. But the thing is that so many of the new riders just have no clue about that, and I always forget how intimidating that can be. I equate that to, I dabbled poorly, I might add, in multi-sport for, I don't know, a couple of years, many years ago. Haven't done it for a while. I can remember the first time that I rolled up to the Redmen tent, because we were doing a team, and it was pretty intimidating. It's the same process, but all the people and figuring out how to get your bike in the corral and how to mark your bike and how to figure out where the hell your bike's going to be and to remember where it's going to be. It was a pretty intimidating piece for me when I did my first one. So I think that a lot of cyclists feel the same way about Tour de Dirt when they roll into a race, and there's people running all over the place and they don't even know where to go to register, and there's groups of people here. And anyway, so I just want to kind of talk about the general procedure, and hopefully there's, again, people that need this information, but I'd love for you guys to have this information so that you can spread it to any new riders or anybody that has questions. And that's kind of what I want to do, just kind of walk you through the steps. Carolyn Fairless, what's happening? Welcome. Sorry that you're still struggling with the Rona. It takes a while. Just take your time. I'm telling you, don't push it. You cannot rush it, and you'll know. We fought with it. Again, I fought with it twice, but Amy and I both this last time, it just, we were well, but then we weren't well. We were technically well, but then it was just like weeks of just like feeling like crap and feeling like we were going to relapse. And then finally, you get better where you can actually do normal stuff. And then it takes, even, several weeks after that before you feel like you can even do athletic stuff. And then for me, we're looking, today's February the 9th. I was sick over Thanksgiving, and literally I am just now doing hard workouts. I started hard workouts last week, and that's the first time that I felt able to do hard workouts since Thanksgiving. So just don't rush it. Take your time. That's all you got to do. So, but glad you're on here. So the Tour de Dirt procedure. So we basically have two areas. There's really kind of three things you have to do, but there's two areas. We have the number plate area, which is where I'm going to be. We sell number plates. These number plates. Boom. That's not this year's. I'm still working. I'm almost done with the design. I'm probably going to order the plates tomorrow or the next day. We'll get those in. They're very similar, but slightly new sponsorship. Anyway, whatever. But plates. So you need to come to the Tour de Dirt, find me, get a plate. Boom, right there. Your plate is good for the whole year. It's $5. If you upgrade from a lower category to an upper category, we'll give you a new plate for that for free. If it's an upgrade. If it's a parallel move, like if you're going from single speed to Cat 1 or single speed to Cat 2, whatever your normal category is, or if you're jumping from, let's say, Clydesdale to your age group, you can go Clydesdale age group back and forth. Again, those are parallel, so those you would have to buy your second plate. And again, it's just $5, and you keep both plates, and you can use them whichever you choose to race. Anyway, so plate first. Come see me. $5. Fill out a form. Get the plate. The form's online, so you could fill the form out ahead of time and have it ready if you chose to. Once you have that, you are then ready to register for the race. Again, you can register for the race online, which takes the waiting completely out of the procedure. Basically, at that point, you just have to check in the table. You won't need to see me. Well, if you already have a number plate, you won't need to see me. You only need to see me to get a number plate. If you have a number plate, you don't ever need to see me again. You can go straight to the table. You just take your plate. If you've online registered, you go to the other table, which is the host of the race. So whoever is hosting the race will have their registration for the actual events that you intend to race in. And you will have a USAC form to fill out. Depends on how you're registering, depends on what form you fill out. You could fill out a one-day form, which would also double as a waiver. Or if you have an annual license like most of us, then you would just fill out the waiver as well. It's the same form or a similar form. I think usually we have a couple of different forms up there, but we can always help with that. Michael Bond checked in. What's up, Michael? This was just for you, bro. Right here. I had this here last time. You didn't check in, so. Oh, man. So that's the procedure. So number plate. Once you get the number plate, you go to the registration for the venue, you register for your event, and you pay them. You do pay separately. You pay me $5 and you go pay them because the money's different. I keep the money. All the money that I make on the plates goes back into Tour de Dirt. I use that along with sponsorship and rider fees to pay for championship jerseys, trophies, payouts, and all that at the end of the season. Last year, obviously, we didn't have that, but normally I will drop anywhere of, I'll do $5,000 cash plus another couple $1,000s worth of awards and then in jerseys, probably $3,000 really, because the jerseys cost about $15 total or so. So we drop around $8 to $9 grand every year just on the end of the year awards, and that's all based on that. So then once you register for your event, you're good to go. When you register for your event, you will get whatever. You just need to make sure they get your name on the registration sheet for your right age group, your right category, whether you're racing single speed or whether you're racing Cat 3, 30 to 39, whatever that happens to be. And that's pretty much it. Then you go get prepped. You go put your number plate on your bike and get your gear ready and roll on. So I think that's just, I know that's a lot and that's probably pretty general and I rambled a little bit there, but it's the key is get your plate first, get that taken care of. Once you have your plate, it's good all year. You never need to see me again. Then when you go to register, you have to fill out your USA Cycling license waiver and or one-day license if you're doing a one-day. If you have an annual license, then all you need to do is fill out the waiver. And then you can go to the registration table and register for your event, hand them the form, give them the money. They write your name down. They write this plate down. They write your USAC number down unless you're a one-day. And then you're good to go. They give you a swag bag or a t-shirt or, if there's anything like that, you get that, and then you're ready to go to your car. One thing I do want to emphasize, and I know some venues do this differently, but I will still emphasize this. If you register online, that is a written signature of your waiver. You do not need to fill out a waiver if you register online. Registering online has you initial at the bottom. That initial at the bottom is the official acceptance of you filling out a waiver, just like that you would normally do if you come to the race and fill it out. So for those of you that are promoters, note that if you have pre-registered people, all they have to do is show up at the registration table with this plate, write their name down, they're good to go. They do not need a waiver. That's just an extra form they have to fill out, and it's unnecessary. You can actually, as a promoter, print that waiver out prior to when you're going through pre-registered people. So as a racer, registering online is risky with mountain biking because of everything that's going on, obviously, but super convenient because you just get to roll straight up. Here's my number. They write you down. You're out. You're done. Walk away. So anyway, that's the procedure. You guys have any questions, comments, things that you would like to add from your experience? Please add it. I'd love to hear it. You bet, Michael. Glad you're checking in, bro. Haven't seen you in a while, but yeah, I had this on here. In fact, look, I even have your name on the back of this already. This is from last year, but I just went ahead and did that anyway. So I was hoping you would maybe possibly cat up last year, and I was going to be able to give it to you last year, but we'll have new ones. You'll still get it. You're all good. Carolyn, good point. Some races mark calves. Actually, all races are supposed to. We're a little bit lax sometimes in the mountain bike scene, mainly just because so many of us know each other, and the categories don't get mixed up too much, so you pretty much know who you're racing. Events where the weather is cold and people have long pants and tights on, what can you do? It's kind of impossible to do that. But if people are wearing shorts, we are actually supposed to mark every race. So, and we have a marking scheme that's the same. We do it every year. You can actually look at. I think I might even have that form on the website. Maybe not. I used to. But you're right. We do mark legs. That we're supposed to every race. I know sometimes it doesn't happen, but again, it's typically not too big of an issue because we don't have the numbers that really need it. The idea of leg markings is that you can always tell who you're racing. You know that if you're mixing age categories or different categories, someone that you're not actually racing against, you can look at their calf and you can see based on the number whether or not you're in the same category as them, or if you are, and then you know whether you need to actually race that person or not. And so that that just changes race strategy, tactics, race strategy, things of that nature. So, hey, you're welcome, Michael. You're welcome. Alrighty. Yep. So new people just look at the legs to see if you get ink. For sure. And I try to work with my promoters so that even if you don't really know that you need to get leg mark, I try to work with the promoters so that they have someone marking legs as you're registering. So like as you're registering, someone's going to say, hey, you have your leg marked? Even a new rider is going to say like, no. And so then they're going to ask them what category they're racing, and they should be able to figure that out. And then oftentimes we'll have someone at the start finish area to get them started. So, and that's probably the second part too. And that's something that we try to get that information out to everybody. And I know that as I'm standing around the registration area, I have gaps. And I talk to a lot of people, and you kind of catch people that are new, and you try to talk to them about where the start line is and how that works. And that's probably a topic for another day, and we could go into there. But I usually just try to get them an idea of where they need to be and when. And typically the idea is at least 15 minutes before your start, you need to be at the start finish line so that they can start doing a roll call. Sometimes they'll call it up, but they'll call it up. I mean, there will be an announcement saying, hey, get up here. And but 15, 20 minutes is usually pretty good. I know that kind of sucks for your warm up, but it's just part of the gig. Everybody's got to get through the same thing, and they have to do roll call, get you lined up, make sure everybody's lined up where they're supposed to be, racing with the people that they're supposed to be racing. And our officials handle all that and do a great job. Tom and Debbie Ugleen are wonderful. And so, yeah. Anyway, cool. Thumbs up. Again, if you have other comments, questions, things to point out, do that, and I can backtrack and grab them. So, alrighty, I want to move into upcoming events, but I'm going to kind of break upcoming events into two things. I'm just going to do my general upcoming events, but I want to talk about 3 new events that just popped up on my radar, and super excited about a couple of them. One of them is going to be pretty cool, but unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to make too many of them. Maybe if I can get a weekend off and I can get all the way up to Tulsa. But let's look at the first one. The first one is just going to be, Tanner's been doing his thing up in Tulsa for quite some time, and they've really got a good thing going when it comes to cross, and especially they've started mixing cross and short track because it's a very similar type training. It's a very similar workout, and so looks like they've created a schedule this year for CX and XC short track practice, and they're going to do that over March and April, and then that's going to lead into a short track state championship May the 2nd. So couple months of practice races, and then leading into a short track state championship. So don't think we've done that in a while. Unless we've snuck one in that I just can't remember off the top of my head. I think the last one was the one that Chris Drummond did quite some time ago. So dates for that are going to be March 16th, March 23rd, March 30th, and then April 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th. So perfect lead in, perfect gaps. I haven't looked at those specific dates, so I don't know if they conflict with other things. I'm sure they do. This time of year, hell, it's next to impossible not to conflict with stuff, but I haven't really had a chance to really go through these dates with a fine-tooth comb. So anyway, yeah, so CX, XC, short track practice, and then leading into state champs. So yeah, improvements at Lubell. Yeah, so it's going to be a Lubell, right? I know I've been there, but it's been a really long time. So, but that Lubell Park, I hear, they've made some. It's going to be a pretty cool course and cool venue. So, yeah, for sure. Ryan Paloma, thanks for that post. Alrighty, I'm going to move into the next one that's pretty cool, and we've been waiting on this. Been talking to my buddy Ray, Christopher Ray Trammell, and looks like G3 is back. I guess what is it? It is G3 version 2 revision 1. So it's G3 V2 R1 version 2 revision 1. So for you computer geeks out there like me. So anyway, so G3 September 22nd, or I'm sorry, September 26th, October 10th, October 24th. Doesn't look like there's any conflicts. There was a possible conflict on the 10th, but I believe Oz Trails has already postponed their event that was going to be in Arkansas that weekend. So looks like that weekend is now open, and G3, here we come. So G3 is based out of Guthrie. I should have looked more closely, but I kind of got behind schedule tonight. But usually we're doing like Cache and Crescent, Luther type venues in those areas. I'm guessing maybe the same this year. But I don't know that the courses are set in stone at this point. But usually what they try to do is they try to progressively make the courses harder from 1 to 3. And missed it last year. We had a ball the year before doing it. That was just such a fun little venue. Start and finish right there in Guthrie, and cool little vibe in town. Courses were great. I really enjoyed the courses. It seemed like every course had some crazy B section where we're going through some farmer's field or some road that shouldn't be a road. And Ray does a great job promoting. It's very grassroots. It reminds me a lot of the Rage Against the Chainring series in Kansas. It's a cool event, good participation, good competition, but yet it's still this really, really down-to-earth grassroots. It's not, overhyped, and yeah. So it's a great event. I'm looking forward to it. Stoked it's back on the schedule. So. All right, that leads me into number 3, the new one up and coming. So hopefully Stephen Cordes is still on here and he can toss in some insight if I miss anything. But the Medicine Park crew, led by Steve Cordes, is gonna dabble in a little bit of something that they've been dabbling in for a while. They are creating an event, and it is not an official event. It is just an event. And for that matter, it is actually going to be free. Well, you need to bring a 6-pack. At least we hope you bring a 6-pack, and then they're going to add that to the mix and maybe do something with the 6-pack. I don't know exactly, but that's kind of like your entry fee, a 6-pack of beer. And honestly, that's pretty good gig. So this is going to be called the Bear Mountain Enduro. So they're doing an enduro race, a 1-day enduro race, 5 stages throughout various courses in Medicine Park. They've been doing crazy amounts of trail work out there. You guys experienced several of those during the either one, Kevin Snyder. You're not lakeside, so you're not limited to cans only, but you can do whatever. Mostly cans are done, but no one's going to care. 6-packs or 6-packs. But a lot of you guys got experience on some of the downhill and enduro courses during the Saturday events this year for the Fool's Dozen. I would assume that they'll use a lot of those, and then some of the additional stuff that they've been working on as well too. So the idea is that, again, this is free. It's not an official event. It's not sanctioned. They're really just doing this to see if there's an interest, to see if there is a draw, a want for this type of event, because in Oklahoma, we really don't have anything like this. I mean, we've had some stuff like this in very far eastern Oklahoma, but I mean, that's basically eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas border. The terrain's different out there, but when you start, I mean, that's a long way. I mean, that's you're talking, from my house, 5 hours, from Oklahoma City, 4-ish hours. And it's a long way. But we don't have a lot of other options in central-ish Oklahoma, and central to west. And they have course and terrain to allow this. And we're going to give it a try, see if we can draw some interest. And if it is, then who knows, this may become an official event next year. But just bring your beers, come get a free entry, come ride some bikes, do some, they'll have, the courses will be kind of split up between like a true really downhill course versus an enduro style course. So you need to be, come prepared. This is an XC, this is enduro, and what you can expect from that. So bring your full squish, although I don't have one. Bring your pads and your helmet or whatever it takes, and bring your A game and come send it, as Jay Black said just a minute ago. So sending, it's not my specialty, but who knows? Maybe I may come out and do it and just see. Steve just chimed in and said, please, anything in excess of 5% ABV, alcohol beverage volume level. So we don't want like the cheap beers. Bring some good beers. Doesn't matter what. Additionally, again, this is going to be it's going to be pretty well organized. They're going to have people leading the way and showing everybody where they need to go and start finish areas. This is all going to be done via Strava. So they're going to set up the courses via Strava, and they're going to do it all. They're going to, do the totals just like they did at Fool's Dozen. So they're going to wait till a certain time cutoff. As soon as that cutoff is done, then we're all going to be hanging out at probably, which one's it called? Bike camp. It's Chad's place. I think they're going to be a bike camp at Chad's place, hanging out afterwards for the awards, where they do the totals. They're going to tally everything, and they'll tally everything based on the Strava results, and boom, you're going to have your winners. So should be very cool. All the Medicine Park stuff's well organized, marked well, lots of volunteers, and should be a good deal. And we'll talk more about it next week, and because it's really close. I mean, we're looking at, that's going to be the I guess I should have told you the date on that. I haven't even told you the date, but the date is going to be, where did I write it down at? February the 27th, right? Yeah. Right? No. Yeah. February 27th. I think that's right. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. February 27th. I believe that's right. Can't really I chicken scratch that down, so. So Tom and Debbie are going to do the timing. Excellent. Yes, 27th. Excellent. Okay, I'm right. I didn't screw that up. I couldn't read my writing. I scribbled it. So anyway, should be good. We'll talk more about that. I mean, heck, maybe, man, if the weather holds up, maybe next week I can do a remote Wizard update. We can head down to Medicine Park and talk to the boys. So anyway, thumbs up. Look forward to Bear Mountain Enduro. That's what we're talking about. And that is really all I have, other than just a few upcoming dates. I do want to talk about our normal stuff, which is probably just another 5 minutes. So again, you guys have questions, comments, things you want to throw in, things that you want me to touch on before I roll out, you better do that now. I'm going to finish up with the general upcoming event schedule, and then I'll scroll back through comments and head that way. So I may get this done in under 5 minutes, unless you guys get me off in a soapbox or something. All right. I'm gonna have to get my glasses for this because I gotta look at my other sheet of paper, and I wrote small. Woo! So outside of the Bear Mountain Enduro, looks like we have Tour de Dirt numero uno, St. Crispin's. So just finished up the Gravel Growler at St. Crispin's, and we're going to be back in March 7th to do St. Crispin's. Sounds like we're doing things backwards. That's going to be super cool. Ah, there you go. Mike just chimed in. Says running the Massacre backwards with a few twists. So Mike's always doing new stuff there. It's pretty cool the way they've got their trail sections. So every year he's able to dabble just a little bit, just to make it a little different, a little more, a little interesting. And then we can, then every now and then they go back to the original, and it's, so super cool that we get to, you get the same experience overall, but then you get a little bit different variety. So Mike and Joanne do a great job of that. So totally stoked, looking forward to March the 7th. St. Crispin's. Rage Against Chainring, I mentioned that a minute ago because to me, it very similarly mirrors the G3 and the feel on the grassroots level. Rage Against Chainring is Wichita, Kansas-based race series, 4 races, March 6th through 6 and 20, and then they're doing April too. I don't have the April dates. I'll wait till later to get those April dates. They're doing 4 dates, March 6 and 20. We are looking at March 14th, and I talked about this last week, and I'll come back and talk more about specifics about this one as well. I talked a little bit about it last week in detail. I'm not going to talk detail today, but March 14th, we have Race for the Gold, second annual Race for the Gold, Kelly Farms, multi-day event. 3 events, or is it a multi-day? Yes, it's just one day, but multi-event. Everything's going to be happening on the same day. Short track, kind of in the actual race for the gold, and then they call it the long jump. So it's basically who can jump your bike the furthest. So it's pretty cool. Total it up, see who wins. Race for the gold, March 14th. Takes us to Ouachita Challenge. I'm quite certain a few of us have registered for that. I have not. I'm not going to. I don't want to. Again, I think that's still a little early for me to be doing some big distances like that, so I'm going to wait. Ouachita is doing it different this year. In the past, they've had the Saturday ride, the Sunday race, all mountain bike. Same basic course minus Blowout Mountain. This year, though, they are doing it different. They're doing a gravel race on Saturday only, no mountain bike. And then they're doing a mountain bike race on Sunday, pretty much like usual. So slightly different weekend, but Ouachita Challenge. And then that leads us to March 28th, Lake Thunderbird, team warm-up, blow-up pub, all kinds of fun stuff. They do very similar stuff that Mike Roberts does. They have a vast course to work with. They build in certain pieces that are the staples and the go-tos. They always find some unique way to link it all together so that it's slightly different, gives us some variety. Good news coming back from the team warm-up crew in that the permit is in process and allowed. So we are able to permit this year. And so it looks good. And always a fun event to have. So looking forward to it. And that, my friends, is all I have on my list. So 47 minutes in, I think I'm going to make this out before 50. Look at that. Go back up and see if I missed anything. So I don't think that I did, but yeah, no, I think I'm good. I don't think I missed anything. Alrighty. Appreciate everybody's comments and appreciate your time. Looking forward to getting things rolling again. I'm finally starting to feel pretty good. I'm getting some good training in. I have been taking some time off, so I've not been getting volume like I need. But like I said, this weekend, normally I'd be getting a lot of volume. I took this weekend completely off. I didn't even ride my bike. Didn't even really hike. Like I said, I went to museums Sunday, and then Amy and I took one of my twins to OSU's campus. He's going to transfer there after he gets his 2-year degree associate out here at Western, and he's going to transfer to OSU next year. So Amy has gone to school at OSU, so we went tromping around campus this weekend, and I don't know how far we walked, but it seemed like we walked forever. We showed him where Joe's was at and all the bars and the campus corner and dorms, and we actually got into the library. The library is like the only building open on the entire campus. So I got some walking in, but that was about it. Alrighty, looks like no comments. Looking forward to kicking it up next week. Like, I'll try to figure out something next week. I may do a remote site next week. That sounds interesting, Cordis. Maybe it just depends on the weather. Let's just wait and see what happens. But I'd love to come down and see you guys. Maybe we could do something from your house. That would be fun and warm. I don't know. Depends on what the weather's going to be. Anyway, all right. 49.5. I'm out. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for hanging. And thanks for listening to me blab. Peace.